All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Truth Seeking Network. It's been a while since I made a video, but I want to talk about today. Um, as y'all see this video I got about to play you guys. Got it from TikTok. And the guy who's recording this, I guess he said this lady loses her mind. But did she really lose her mind in the video? Did you see her lose her mind at all? I mean, she spoke the truth. And what you're about to see happens to a lot of people. I seen it happen to a neighbor and somebody else the same way. They living in their house. All of a sudden, somebody knock on their door, tell them they got to leave. They no longer own their home. And I've seen this happen to neighbors that live right across the street from me. Now, I don't know this lady's financial situation at all, but you're going to hear her speak a lot of truth in this video. You know, you're going to hear her say that she's indigenous. And on this channel, this is what we've been talking about for the longest time. This country, this government, this nation knows that we are indigenous people to this land. We are not African Americans. We are not Black people. We are not colored, nor are we Negroes or any other names that mulattoes, any other name to take away our true identity. As I will show you again, the original definition of an American later on in this video. And there are so many people right now who are fighting for their lands. Now I'm saying lands, not just houses, but lands that their families have owned forever. And this country always try to make up some slave story, like they gave it to the slaves. Y'all, we all know the slave story. There was no 40 acres and a mule given to us, according after the Civil War. So we know it was promised, was not given. But yet, how did so many of us own so many lands? How was there so many so-called Black towns that are now underwater? So many Black towns that have been wiped out, or the people have gotten their land stolen from them. So where all these Black towns and Black cities come from if we didn't get 40 acres and a mule? You want to say, oh, this after slavery, they just got this. No, it wasn't after slavery, because America we have always been here. And those people on those reservations, they are part of an organized government organization. They are not the copper color races that were found here. And that's another thing in their definition, that they were found here, like they found. Look what I found. You went to another land like you found us here. We have always been here in America, and there's no way you could have got rid of all of us. When I was growing up, you didn't see so-called Indians like you see on, the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and these Western movies. Those were all Hollywood. But see, that's what they used to make everybody believe that this land belonged to those people. And do you know the real truth? That a lot of people were lynched or murdered or killed if that looked like me. If you called yourself an Indian or an indigenous to this land, that's what a lot of the lynchings were all about. And y'all can look this information up. I'm not going to put it in this video. On this channel, I've put a lot of information out about the true indigenous people, which is us. And it's sad that this country won't even recognize the fact that that's who we are. That they made up a whole new other people, and to make us, to show that we didn't even come from here, that they brought us here on slave ships. Really. And all you got to do is just look at the story. The whole story, we know the root story was false. You want to believe that in 1619, the first slaves came to America, that they were captured, some 20-odd slaves, right? And that started the slave trade in America. That's according to this is what they say in the books, right? 1619. How did the slaves beat the Pilgrims to America? The Pilgrims came to America in 1620. So you mean to tell me they had a slave trade going in America before 1620? I mean, the Pilgrims barely made it off the boat. Most of them died. And then even after that, they couldn't even live off the land. So who built these big cargo slave ships that didn't exist at that time, by the way, and went across the seas when they barely made it here from England? Gonna take a longer trip to hurricane-infested waters, right? 6 months out of the year. Gonna ride all the way to Africa on a sailboat. No engine. They had no cleaning supplies. Tide didn't exist. So you tell me you have 400 people deep chained up on the bottom of a ship with no toilet paper, no toilets, no bathrooms, nothing. Where did you store your water? Because you had to feed yourself and that crew. And the stench on that ship must have been horrible. Just think of one of those Dons and Johns. You put one of those little things out in a week. So imagine people now just doing it all over the floor. Who went down? Who went down below to feed them? Who went down below to give them water to drink? Because they wouldn't have made it back up. And the people who live on the bottom of the ship, they would have died. There was no there was no circulating air conditioning going on in the ship. So the story was false. And that's why they don't have really no slave ships. That's why they don't have no real pictures of slave ships or bringing slaves in America. All of them are like cartoons or like little pictures that they drew. So anyway, we're gonna play this video real quick. And I'm just saying, you know, especially to our people, to now call yourself African American. What that name was made up in 1988. It's like we just accept any name that is given to us. You're not from Africa. The African people who come here know you're not from Africa. There's nobody from Africa that's coming here looking for you. They come here to make money and send money back home to their stores and to their families. Not one of them came over here saying, "Oh, wow, I'm looking for my lost relative." That's not going on. And that's why they don't, that's why the people from Africa call themselves they're from Ghanaians, or they're from Nigerian, or they call themselves Ethiopian, or whatever they from. But they don't call themselves African Americans either. The only African American that it pertains to is the so-called indigenous Americans or the American Indians that were here already, which is us. We have been reclassified over and over again. Identity and land has been taken and stolen, and through eminent domain and other throughout the centuries, people have lost their lands. People have been murdered and their lands have been taken from them and totally wiped out. And this is all part of this history on this land. We have been pushed into reservations, what we call ghettos today, where drugs, guns, and alcohol, and of course the church, Jesus is being pushed on our people, and abortion clinics. This is all part of the system. And a lot of the people are waking up. The people who are doing their homework, there's a lot of people out there are finding out the truth. But let's just go ahead and watch this video, and let's see what happens to this lady in this video. Because when they came on this land, it was their laws. That's the reason why we lost our places, at the places where we stay, because they brought their laws. And that's one of the main reasons we lost everything, under their laws and their system. And we continue to lose it. And no matter what happens, even if she calls herself indigenous, well, she's right. She's totally correct who she is, and she knows it. But since they came to put their laws on our land, that's how a lot of our people have lost their lands and homes. And the thing is going on today. So let's watch this video.
Sheriff's office, start eviction. Sheriff's office, hand start eviction. But everybody inside these residents. Okay, we're serving eviction. Open up the door now.
You go through a process. I haven't been through a process. Okay, nobody can come up here. My name is Miss Free.
Okay, screen, that's exciting. We post a notice on your door.
That's not, it said unknown person. I don't know what that means.
You screen, is anybody up there what you?
My grandson is in here with me.
How's your grandson?
He's 19.
Why didn't you go to the courthouse when the notice was posted on it?
I'm not an unknown person. I'm Joanne Green. I've been here for 20 years. They don't have no contracts with me to be doing nothing with anyone. So I don't know why they're here talking about they can evict me and all this stuff. So you go past foreclosure to evict to get listen, this is a scam and the bank is a scam. And so they don't have no jurisdiction over me. I'm indigenous to this land. This is my property. I've been here. That's why they can't touch me. Now this person comes over here talking about, oh, I just purchased this house from an auction with no paperwork in his hand. He just called. I could have killed him. You don't come up to nobody's home talking about what you got. You ain't got nothing in your hand. You just talking. Like, who the fuck does that? If I'm supposed to be evicted, my name is not unknown. Everybody knows it. This is my life. The life that has been in my name for 20 years. I have been here. This is my home. Okay, can't nobody buy somebody's home off from under them if they don't have no paperwork or nothing.
Okay,
That's not right.
Ms. Green.
So you can't evict me for nothing.
Well, my question to you, Ms. Green, why didn't you go to the courthouse?
Because the papers say unknown. I'm not an unknown. If you have something, I've been, all my neighbors know me. I'm part of the neighborhood watch. Why is my name not on any paper? Explain that to me. I'm not unknown. I'm very known. So I don't know what kind of eviction you're doing, but it's illegal. You can't evict.
I'm doing a court order.
Well, I don't know what court order, what name is it under?
It's under 3718.
That's not a name, that's an address.
Let me explain to you, Ms. Green, while I'm here. And the court order was signed by the judge saying to do the eviction.
Under, from who?
I'm just explaining to you what the property.
No, you can't evict. Really? So you think you can come here and evict somebody off of a property? You don't have their name.
It doesn't require me to have a name. You wanna read this
Are
portion?
you fucking serious too?
Yes, ma'am, I'm let you read it.
I don't need to read none of that. I don't wanna read it. It don't have nothing to do with me.
It has to do with the property. It says,
This is my property under my name. You don't even have a name on it.
the spring,
So I'm not leaving my property.
state of Florida, which we're in. To the Orange County Sheriff's Office, which county we're in.
So you're gonna throw me out of my house right now?
I have no choice, man. It's
Where
where
is
it says, yes.
Y'all wanna throw all my shit out there. Since you're gonna do that
So it says.
to an indigenous person of this land, so you're gonna do it.
All persons.
You're not removing me from my property. So you about to take me out of here? How?
Voluntarily, preferably.
You listen, I'm telling you, you're not removing me out of my property. I'm not leaving, so.
You don't wanna take me to jail, Mr.
Really? This is pathetic. Y'all are something else. And God will deal with you. God will deal with you.
Okay.
I'm not leaving my house. This is my property. You walk up here with a guy. What is he doing? Who is that white man coming up here trying to take black people's homes?
Walking up here with court order.
No, you walked up here with a guy with no name on no paper.
Keep one searching.
There's no name on that paper. You think you can throw me out of my house? That is against the law. I'm sorry. You can't.
All right, sir, you gotta leave, man. Got a court order to move off.
I gotta leave. Look, all my stuff is in here. All my life is in here. I've been here for 20 years. Really?
That's your mother?
That's my grandson.
Just like I was trying to your grandmother, got a court order to remove all person from the districts.
I need the supervisor to come over here or somebody. Cause I'm not, this is not happening. I don't, they think they should just come and take you out your home. That is a shame. I need somebody over here.
So that's what we.
You can't fix them, they don't even have my name on it. They just wanna throw me up out of here, and that guy over there didn't. He went and got them. With no paperwork, this come to your house, y'all do that to black people all day. He got some paperwork with nobody's name on it. And it's for the property, not the persons that's in the.
Step out for your.
And I don't even know why you're showing it to him. I'm the grown person.
You didn't wanna look at it, man.
I don't need that, and my name ain't on it.
It's in the door, right?
Yeah, but my name ain't on it.
We're in the state of Florida, right?
You don't even have his
Now,
glasses
we're
on.
going to County Sheriff's Office. You are commanded to remove all persons from 3718
I can't
Elm
believe
Avenue.
this. I'm
Put
really appalled
this
right
company in
now.
possession of property.
This is a shame. So I don't know where they think I'm gonna go. I don't have no place to go. I'm gonna sit here on this damn porch.
To remove.
Remove all persons.
That's a shame.
So your best interest is to gather your belongings.
I don't have nowhere to go.
You can go to the court to try to fight this.
Really? But I need to get out of my
I
house.
can't stop this eviction.
That is a shame. Look at you.
Yeah, we don't enjoy doing this.
Yes,
But I have, you already
think
think
you're some, you think that this is beautiful.
this eviction is gonna happen, Degree.
I'm not leaving my house. I'm not. I've been living here for 20 years. You want me to just up and leave because you came over here on my porch telling me what I gotta do. My name ain't on nothing. So you gonna take me to jail?
Now, we don't wanna do that.
You don't want to, but you will in my feet. You don't care about me. You have nothing inside.
That is not.
Nothing. And I pray for you because something will happen to both of y'all for coming here trying to remove somebody from their house. Cause that ain't a piece of shit. That ain't a piece of foreign.
It's not.
On my land.
Also, before.
You will pay dearly honey, if I leave here, cause I don't have no place to go and I'm not leaving. I got too much shit to get out of here. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but you might need to go back to the judge and tell him I said to call me.
That's something you should have did.
I don't need to do that. That's none of it is on my name is not on any, they're not talking to me.
So you're not a person,
I'm not, my name, I have a name and an identity.
but you are a person.
It doesn't say person. It said, it needs to say the person that has been here, the light bill is in my name. For
So that's
20
something
years.
You will have to talk to the court about.
I don't need to talk to no court. I'm indigenous. This is my land. Why doesn't it have my name on it? Yes, please, because and this piece of shit, I pray he leave out of here and die.
As cities and states across the country consider various forms of reparations, California has led the way in returning land to the descendants of the dispossessed. That includes African Americans and Native Americans. But
Now stop right there. You see how the news, you see how they do it on the news? African American and Native Americans. See how they now just labeled us black on a Native American? And the thing about it is, these people get on the news and they try to think us like this lady, she came from Africa. Now, what slave ship did their families come off of? Now, and you're gonna hear to say they own the land. And that's why they had to give it back. It wasn't no African American, black and Native American. Where's the Native American at? Show me the Native American.
But as Stephanie Sy reports, the wealth, the community, and the opportunities lost are not easily recovered.
The story of Bruce's Beach is a story about what could and should have been. Over 100 years ago, an industrious Black woman in Southern California dreamt of owning a beach resort, but was refused whenever she tried. Willa Bruce eventually acquired land in Manhattan Beach, telling the Los Angeles Times in 1912, "I own this land and I'm going to keep it."
I just wanted to pause it real quick. You heard what she said? I own this land and I am going to keep it. So you see the storylines that they have, and the news media is so misleading. Like she just bought the land and she just wanted the land, and now I own this land, I'm going to keep it. No, they had this in their land for family. They had this for generations. Just like we have land all across this country for generations. This is going on in North Carolina, South Carolina. This is going on right now, where people are trying to get their land back that they owned. A lot of these lands were owned that we had all the land at some point. But when they come in with their laws and their statutes and all this stuff they came in with, that's what how we lost our lands. We lost our land due to the racism. And this is all facts. So if you got a whole, if they the judge, the jury, and everything, and they come and tell you, and they write up some piece of paper saying the judge said you got to vacate your land, guess what? They come in with guns and everything else. Next thing you know, they steal your land. There's one place where they said they was going to build a parking lot or something like that, and they use eminent domain to take the land, and then the next thing you know, they built a hotel, and that hotel is still standing today, and it was stolen from that family. I forgot the article. Maybe I can find it and put it in here.
She and her husband Charles built a lodge, a place where Black vacationers could enjoy a stay at the beach.
You know, they were having a beautiful time, and they built it to share. Yeah, and you know, because whenever people came to California, they wanted them to have somewhere to go.
When I think about Charles and Willa Bruce, I think about entrepreneurs, I think about Black excellence, I think about community.
The reality is the Bruces and their patrons were wealthy.
A stately photo of the Bruces on their wedding day, decked out in finery, foretold the makings of a power couple. The display of Black success outraged the white neighbors and powers that be, says attorney George Fothery.
In the light of harassment, intimidation, violence, their business just got more and more successful.
And see, this is the real reason what happened throughout all the United States. They were jealous. Now, how did these slaves just come off an African boat, come over here in the midst of, if white people were here first and they got all jealous of them, then the white people end up doing better than the white people. So you can't come from another country, come to America, a place that you don't know nothing about. You don't know how the garden here, you don't know what kind of fruits and things, because you're coming from a whole different landmass. So how would you come over here and come over here if the white people were first and you outdoing the white people that were here? And you amass all this wealth. But see, when you do the real history of America, you will find out that we owned everything and that we were very wealthy in the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. We were wealthy throughout the land. And then you will find out that the immigrants will actually come over here in the late 1800s, after 1871, all the way until 1900, 1912. Matter of fact, I'm going to show them in this video when they were coming over here.
And until the city of Manhattan Beach hatched a scheme to take the property via a racially motivated eminent domain.
The Bruces' dream was stolen, their property essentially seized for a pittance in compensation, and only after they sued.
This is it. I would say
Now, you see what I just said in the other video? They used their laws, right? They used their people. They used their laws. They took over the laws, and they had to obey their laws. They set up their city and structures. They hired some of us to work with them. And then they come in and say, okay, well, we want to take your land from you. And that's exactly what happened. And this has happened throughout the United States. So these videos, this proves what I've been saying. But this is actually what happened.
from right here to maybe this building here.
Community activist Kavon Ward first learned of the Bruces a few years after she moved to Manhattan Beach in 2017.
You know, this country often tells us that we're Black people, that we're lazy or we don't work hard enough, or all we have to do is pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And here we are in the 19 teens and the 1920s, and this Black couple did exactly that, only to have their land stolen and to die as cooks in someone else's kitchen when they had this whole beachfront resort here.
Ward began campaigning for the land to be returned to the descendants of Willa and Charles Bruce during the summer of 2020. Less than 2 years later, she succeeded with the help of Fathery.
For a century, our government at every level has enacted policies to dispossess Black people of the right to own property and create wealth. And what was so powerful about the return of the property of the Bruce family is we see a path forward to finally counter some of those false narratives.
As unique and complex as the Bruce's Beach land back deal is, it does offer a path forward for other groups that might seek a return of land, not least of which are the original inhabitants of Los Angeles.
Before Spanish missionaries arrived, the Tongva roamed a 4,000 square mile swath of Southern California called Tovangar, stretching from the coast to the mountains.
We've been very systematically erased. We were enslaved. We've gone through about 3 waves of genocide.
27-year-old Samantha Morales Johnson recently became the land return coordinator for a Tongva conservancy, a job she could.
And you see, and see how she tried to switch it to native. Well, we all know who the true native of America is. This lady is right here. You can see she has some mixture in her, but she is not copper colored, is she? She's not a copper colored woman.
Could only have dreamed of as a child.
This land was returned, which I was not expecting in my lifetime, let alone my grandfather's.
The 1-acre property in Altadena was transferred last year by a Jewish landowner.
All right, so I'm gonna pause this video. I just wanted y'all to see that. And now I'm gonna show you something else. All right, y'all, so here's another one. And so there's a lot more. I'm just giving you examples in this video to show you that we were here and that so-called, even after the Civil War, there was no 40 acres in a mule, that we had lands. So where did we get all this land from? There was no slave owner that said, okay, here, I'm gonna give all y'all this land. See, we're indigenous here and we have always been here. And these videos prove it. But we know who we are. We tired of all the lies. We tired of being lied to. Okay? So in mainstream media, they're gonna call us Black or African American, right? But we know we didn't come off no slave ships. And we know that the root story was fake. And we know that Alex Haley plagiarized the so-called root story from a white author named Harold Corlander. Harold Corlander sued Alex Haley in 1978, a year after Roots was broadcasted on TV in 1977. And Harold Corlander won. I think it was something like over $650,000 or half the money from Roots. Something like that effect, but y'all can look that up yourselves. All right, so let's just listen to this video, and then I'm gonna show you 2 more things, and I'm out of here.
Honor and a privilege to stand here next to this amazing, strong young lady. When I first noticed what was happening here in Beaufort County, when I first noticed what was happening to her, I became enraged, like many people around the country. I've spoken to lawyers like Ben Crump and Harry Daniels. I've spoken to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I've spoken to everyone about the fact that there is a concerted effort to take property away from Black folk in our community who have lived a great life, who have given so much to this community, and now find themselves at the ripe old age of 93 years old, fighting to maintain and keep what is theirs. I can guarantee you she never thought that at 93 years old she'd be in a legal fight.
No, I couldn't.
And we reached out, we sent a letter 2 weeks ago, simply asking the developer to communicate, simply asking the developer to speak to us, to speak to her, so we can have a common conversation about how do we move forward. And I think more disrespectful than a no is a non-response. And so we're asking this community to join us in action, write letters to the developer, call the developer. We're asking them to pray for this family, everything they're going through. And we're asking the community to not let this die. I traveled down here today just to stand beside her and stand with her. And I'm going to continue to do that, and we're asking the community to do that as well. I'm going to turn it over to her for a few. Is that?
Well, thank you. I just want to thank Bakari and all the community and the people who have been supporting me. When I came into this situation, it was because of harassment from the construction companies. And what they did was serve me with improper papers. And which caused me to have to get an attorney that would cost a lot of money. However, they also claimed I encroached upon their property that was next to mine. However, we found that my property was 22 inches away, 22 feet away from their lines. We want to keep this property in my family. My children, who I had 7, I have 40 grand and 50 great-grands. And I've got 16 great-grands. All of them want to be able to live and visit this property as a convenience for them in a family and private way. Our effort is to make sure that we keep this property. It's historical. It goes back to the Civil War, and it's been in the family since that time. And we need to make sure that it is known that it is historic. And we want to keep our property within the family and not try to be harassed to sell it. So this is our fight, and this is what we are doing. Amen.
This is just the beginning of the fight. And when we have conversations about systemic injustices and the fact that Black folk are separated from their land, this is what we're talking about. This doesn't just affect one young lady, but this affects an entire family. It affects generations. This is not just a battle about somebody trying to take on a development company and say, don't build right here, don't build right now. This is about more than that. This is about our communities. This is about generational wealth that's very difficult to obtain. This is about land ownership. This is about heirs property, which we know we deal with a lot down here. And so she has great legal counsel. I told the family we'll raise as much money as they need to. We need help with that. We'll raise as much money and we will fight as long as we can. This is not David and Goliath because God has her. This is a more even fight than that. But they need to know that we are prepared to fight. And we are thankful for city officials. We're thankful for state elected officials. We're thankful for all of those people who have spoken out.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right there and see. And you see what
because at the end of the day, when you look at
sorry about that, and you see what I was saying early in the video. That's what I was talking about. They set their laws, and they come and put their laws and regulations out there, and then we have to come up with money to fight. And a lot of people didn't have money to fight back. So since you didn't have the money to hire an attorney, you lost your land. You lost everything in their court system. And this is how we got paper genocide to be now African Americans. We have always been here. These people didn't just get off the slave boat and fight in the Civil War and then get some land. You see what I'm saying? They didn't come from Africa off a slave ship, fighting the Civil War was done. After the Civil War, okay, here you go, we gave you some land. That's not how things went down. Our people had land. We own stores. When you do the real research of America, we own cities, towns, we own everything. And now let me show you the people who came in. And during this time, just this is when you find a lot. I did a video, the real purge that happened in America, or something like that. Now I'm gonna show you the people who actually came in, and when they came in during the time, you're gonna see them coming on the boats. And this is a lot of, and this is after they were coming in on the boats. This was a lot of these so-called these slaughters were going across America during this time, right? All these atrocities were going on. Hold on, let me get to that real quick. On this channel, I'm giving y'all the real history. Now you can see on some of these things, right? This is when so-called a lot of Europeans were coming to America. They were coming by the boatloads. Now, these are the real ships that you see people coming to America. And this is when you had the race wars going on in America during this same time. You see this time, 1862, right here. Look at this. You see? Look who was coming to America. Right here. And this is not to be racial, but it's actually to show y'all the truth of what happened in America. Because a lot of Caucasians, they also think that they own the land that they brought us here. You didn't bring us here because you were just getting here. Y'all were just getting here. Look at this. Let's keep going. Look at this. Immigrants on deck, the SS America, New York, U.S. Library of Congress. See this? I'm just going to a bunch of these. Look at this. Immigrants, Statue of Liberty. Look who's coming. These are not people from Africa. Look at this, y'all. The America. Look at who's coming to America. Look at this. See, Germans to America. Everybody was coming from all over. It was the word was come everybody. And that's exactly what happened. Look at this. But look, they were all European. You see this? Germans to America. Look, it covers the records of over 4 million passengers during the period of January 1850 through 1897. And see, now I'm going to show you where all the race wars started coming up. When they started bringing all these people to America, and they were bringing them in by the boatloads. This is when we lost everything. That's when the race wars so-called started. Okay, during those times. So you can see these are the real pictures of people coming to America. Look at this. Let's go to this one. See? Find the U.S. immigration push your ancestors used. See? They were coming from everywhere. How many immigration states in the U.S. there were? From 1513 through 1990. Look at this. It's incredible. But notice that they're not African or so-called dark-skinned or melanated people that's coming. Look. See this? So again, this is to tell the truth about who was here and who wasn't. You got pictures of boatloads, millions of people coming across from Europe to America. And what were they? Immigrants. The same people who are crying about immigrants today or complaining about them, which I am too, by the way, don't get me wrong, but they were immigrants. They come from immigrants themselves. But now they call themselves the American. And they call me an African American. Now we're going to show you the slave ships. the so-called slave trade ships. Hold on for a second. All right, so now you see. So what do you have? What's the difference that you see the difference between that, what I just showed you, and these so-called slave ships? Now, these are the sort of the translated slave ships. So let's take a look at them. You see? Now, what do you see the difference is? There are no pictures of real people, right? These are pictorials, right? Now, look, let's show you how they got this thing laid out. Let's see if we can make it bigger, if I can. Let's see, where did that ship go? Nope, they didn't show me the ship. Okay, let's go back. Can they make this bigger? Okay, look. See? This how fake this is. Look, I blew it up for y'all to see it. Now look at this. Tell me you went 4.5 months at sea, and this is how you were. They got people lined up in the ship. Look at this. All around here. This is a joke. This is a joke. You got people stuck in the bottom of a ship lined up there. All these people would be dead. 4.5 months. They had no toilet, no bathrooms, nothing. Right? Where did you store the water? The food supplies for your men and them. You know, the stench on these ships would have been horrible. And then there were no cleaning. There was no Clorox bleach. There was no Tide, because guess what? We created all that here in America. Soap and all that stuff. And if you do the real history, you'll find that they went around, they wasn't even bathing. So how in the world, who cleaned all the ships up? They say this doesn't even make sense. Let's look at the rest of them. See, look. See? So you got real people, because there was no real slave trade. This is what they want to show you, that these are cartoons. Look at this mess. Look at this ship. They got them lined all the way up here in the middle, all the way around here, all the way to the belt of the ship. Somebody just laying in the ship like that. Now you tell me this stuff is not fake. But this is the history that they want to teach in school. That's the history they want. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me see if I can make this bigger. I want y'all to see this. Tell me, is this ridiculous or not? That is ridiculous. So all these people are laid out like this. The boys, the men and the women, they all laid out 4.5 months at sea, going back and forth. Hurricane infested oceans, right? No air conditioning system. No motor on a boat. There's not a reefer to hold the cold storage food, you know. All the water supply that you're going to need to feed all these people for 4.5 months, because we know we can't drink seawater. You see this? It's ridiculous. But this is what they taught in schools. And we're debunking all this stuff now. We did not come on slave ships. They didn't have the wherewithal to bring us here. Look at this. See? All cartoons. This is the story that we were told that they did so they could take over our land. I'm just scroll through them. You can see them all. Nothing real. There's nothing real. There are no slave ships. What's this right here? So I want y'all to look at this. See right here? These are not slaves. You see that? So this is something modern. Look at the shoes. Look at what they're wearing. You see this? This is not a slave boat. And this is the one. Look at this. I'm gonna zoom in bigger for y'all. Y'all can see it for yourselves. There's nobody in chains. These people are chilling. Look at them. He got his legs crossed. He posing for the photo. They all just sitting there chilling. Look at them. They taking the photo. Look at this. So this is not no slave thing. So I don't. Maybe they just put this on the page, but this is not a slavery. That has nothing to do with any kind of slave thing whatsoever. So let me go back. Let's go back. Look at some more of these pictures. And that's all they got, basically. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. This is the story. And again, the story that we were taught in school, right here. This is the story, and that's all it was. Now, I showed you the real people that were coming to America, because these so-called dark people were already here. They were already here. But just like in most land masses all around the world, we're indigenous to the planet. So, of course, we were here. And for them to say we're not, it just shows that's another lie that they're trying to perpetrate. To try to, oh, well, we brought you here. You barely brought yourselves here. So you couldn't have brought us here. All right, so now let's go by. Let's check this out one more time. Now we're going to the real pictures of people who really came here. And I want y'all to see this before I go to the pictures one more time. By 1870, look, more than 90% of immigrants arriving to America came on steamships. By 1870, when was Reconstruction? 1871. Listen, the steamships shortened the length of a voyage from a minimum of 5 to 6 weeks at sea to less than 2 weeks, causing a decrease in variability of arrival time. Both of these factors reduce mortality of passengers. See, so even 5 weeks, which is a month or maybe a month and a half, but you trying to tell me that slaves came 4.5 months tied, chained to the bottom of a ship, eating and defecating at the same spot where they were chained up at? Who cleaned that ship up? Hmm? So I'm just getting you to think now. So now we're gonna look at the images of the people who really came to America. And there's a whole page full. Yep. And it shows you them coming on boats live, coming to America. From all, look at this. See this? Today, these are the Americans. All right. And now, let's get now the original definition of an American. It's right here. Let's look at it. For everybody to see one more time. American, noun of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by the Europeans. See, they didn't find us. We were already here. We were living here and copper colored, right? But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So now they are the Americans. And now our names have been changed from copper colored to colored to black, colored, Negro, Afro Americans. And now we're African American. Our names have been totally changed. But the Aboriginals were copper colored, right? So let's look at copper colored people. Let's go to images. And then, okay, let's do it. Now they're showing you. A penny is copper colored, right? So today, this is what they show you, right? So I'm gonna ask you, today, the guy on my right is now called the Indian. This lady right here, who is the same as the copper colored penny, she's called an African American now. But let's see the definition. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to Europeans born in America. This is the original definition of an American. So you tell me, how did it change, or where did the change come from? And it's all through here. It's all through here. Look at this. See? Let me see if I can slide this page over. Okay. Let's look at this page. These images back. Let's look at this, y'all. You see that old, look at that, America. See that? That's an old picture of her. America right there in the back. But they don't show, they didn't show this in school. They didn't show these in school either. Look. Actually, I want to get. See, look, 90% of so-called blacks are actually indigenous autochthonous Americans. Now that this is known, how do we reintegrate the divided copper-colored people? And see, these are old pictures. They're from back in the day, y'all. These are old pictures. Old. Look at this. But they tell you an Indian is somebody totally different today, right? Look at this. These are real. These are old pictures. Look at that. See that? Novus Ordos, say whatever it is, America. And this is a real picture. I forgot the date of it. Let's see if we can find it. We'll click on it. See if we can find the date of this. 1730, was that it? Yep, 1730. Look at this. These are the Americans. So how did Americans go from this right here, which you see? Let me get back over here. How did Americans, look at the froze, y'all. Let's look at this picture. See if I can slide it over some. How did we go from looking like this? Now this is how we look today. See the froze? So you don't see the long hair like they told, you see that? You see what they're wearing? They're copper colored, right? These are American Indians for real. So how did we go from that, right? From that to this. Let me show you. This is what they say Indian is today. Um, Let me get a good picture of an Indian today. Oh, you know what? American Indians today. How about doing that? Let's see. Look at the American Indians. Now, tell me what's the problem, y'all. These are the American Indians now. Look. Where's the copper colored people that were originally found? Am I being racist, or I'm just telling our real history now? Our history, our land, everything was stolen. Look, these are Spanish people. Now they're the Native Americans. And they wasn't even here. Look, she's an Indian, y'all. These look like the same people that came off the boat. Same looking people that came off the boat. Look, American Indian. Where's the copper colored people? And you tell me this stuff wasn't whitewashed. And so I'm showing you on this channel the truth. Look at these people. These are American Indians now. Look at this guy. He's an American Indian. Let's look at him real closely. Wow. So now and see, we have been totally disenfranchised from the land. Look at this. I think I showed enough, you know? Anyway. So y'all, I'm here just to show the truth, to debunk the lies in history. And I've been doing it all on this channel. I've been doing it about the Bible, Jesus, the whole bit. Okay? It's all been lies. And Jesus, that was the main thing they did to brainwash us. They gave us Jesus, and we did give them our land. And now we something else in our own country. Houses being taken. And the lady in the beginning video was right. She's an indigenous American. And this court has no authority to take nothing from our people. But yet they do. Because they set up their laws and their systems on our land. And that's why they said United States is a corporation. And we are losing lands on a grand scale. This is the Truth Seeking Network. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace till next time. And I'm out.